Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a hell of a show for you guys, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, to be sure to hit all notifications to be notified the second we publish our content. So today we got a hell of a show for you guys, man. I'm actually trying to pull something up here, because I think it's something that definitely has is going to explain today's show. Right now, what happened yesterday? I came across a segment on Undisputed on First Speak for Yourself. No, First Things First, and they were talking about the Western Conference playoff picture. And how the Lakers perform. Obviously, they were talking about it off of the heels of LeBron's 40-point game where he shot 68%, I believe, and 90% from the three-point line. So he was very, very efficient. So Nick Wright and these guys were talking about that. So what happened? In the midst of talking about that, they were also talking about where the Lakers stand in the Western Conference in terms of the competition, right? And they were talking about, okay, if the Lakers would get to the playoffs, who could they potentially beat? Who could beat the Lakers? Blah, 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 blah. So as they were discussing this, Broussard begins to speak. And essentially what he started to say was, he's like, listen, the Lakers to me are one of the most confusing teams in the entire NBA, because he said on paper, they are a very, very talented team. And he can make an argument that they have more talent than some of the other teams that are currently in the playoff picture. So as he was saying that, Nick Wright started to get a little bit uncomfortable. And the reason I personally believe that he got uncomfortable was because if he allowed Broussard to continue to speak and basically say, no, listen, I think the Lakers have a very good roster, then the built-in excuse of, well, they lost, if they lose in the playoffs, cannot be, well, the Lakers weren't really any good. And I've noticed that that's something that they've been trying to do recently. The game that they played against the Brooklyn Nets, apparently the bench only scored 2 points, right? They only scored 2 points, and now people are somehow trying to make it seem like, oh my God, you see, the Lakers have no help. They don't have anybody. And I'm like, but wait a minute, wasn't this the same team that went into Boston and beat the Boston Celtics without LeBron James? So help me figure it out. Do the Lakers have any talent or don't they? Weren't this the same Lakers team that went in there and beat the Memphis Grizzlies, I believe, without Anthony Davis, if I'm not mistaken? So what are we trying to do here? So what I like was that Broussard basically checked Nick Wright for trying to say, no, the Lakers aren't really a talented team. So in the case if they lose, he could bring up that excuse and say, oh, LeBron didn't have any talent. So for those of you who didn't catch that segment, we want to play it for you now and then to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to this segment here.
And this is where it's a bit baffling to me. And maybe it's because we've been spoiled by LeBron's career. As you see, the numbers are very good. We know he's not quite what he used to be, because particularly defensively. And when he was in his prime, he would control the tempo of games. And that's what he can't do now, because he doesn't have the ball all the time. And he doesn't want it all the time because of the stamina. But I got to be honest, I think their team is good, like the roster. I mean, you got two legitimate stars whose games complement each other. Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Rui, Torian Prince, we could go down the line. I think they've got depth. They shoot the three well. They don't shoot it a lot, but they're in the top 10. They're, I think, 7th in three-point field goal percentage. So it's a bit baffling that with LeBron putting up these numbers, AD putting up these numbers and playing great defense, and the players that they have, the role players, that they're not better. Is it so? Is it that baffling? It's not that baffling to me, because I think it just speaks to the depth of talent in the league right now. You're right that on paper the roster doesn't look terrible, but when when I watch the games, though, I think these guys can play. Yeah, but when you stack it up against the teams they're competing with in the West, yes. Denver's roster is that much better. Yeah. Yes. After really? KCP's playing a huge role. Aaron Gordon, who is good. But nobody thought he was all that spectacular before. He's the third guy.
So I think, but Denver also has the benefit of having the best player in the league, or certainly one of the few teams.
They found a way to really play great team basketball.
But so take Denver out of it, because Jokic, for a lot of people, is kind of a cheat code right now, like LeBron maybe a decade ago. You look at the Thunder's overall roster, far better.
Really?
Minnesota's overall
far better?
Yeah,
I mean, seriously.
Hold on, we're talking about after their top two guys, right? Because that's everybody agrees LeBron and AD
But
are
I mean,
excellent.
the top two guys are a part of it.
No, of course.
I mean, you can't just say after the top two, because and even after the top two.
Yes.
Jaden Williams and Chet, who's young in his first year. I mean, Chet is, I guess, number 2. Josh Giddey, Austin Reeves.
Yeah, I think Giddey's better, and I think,
but it's close.
You
and
said
I don't know that he's better. I don't know that he's
and Chet is definitely better as an all-around player than D'Lo.
Chet would be the second best, right?
Jalen. So you had
second best player on OKC versus AD or versus LeBron.
Right. So and then Giddey and then Dort, you go down. I just look at I look at the rest of the West.
I don't see how you can say OKC's roster is better overall. Now, they might have better coaching. This is what, if people want to start looking at the coaching, and they do with Darvin, I think Darvin's a good coach. But look, let's be honest. The Lakers have played good basketball for a few months.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we'll see what they do in the playoffs. So this may all, show out. But I think the roster is good. I really do.
Okay. Do you have him winning a title? No.
No.
You're no. And you think he needs to leave?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's what you agree, right?
You think he should leave this?
I mean,
offseason?
I don't think he will leave. I think that, and I'm not saying he should. I'm saying if the question were, if the only thing that mattered was best chance to win a title as a major contributor, you know what I mean? So I'll go sign with the Nuggets for the minimum. You know, that doesn't exist. Right. Then I would say yes, leave. In my perfect world,
Philly would be.
Philly would work. I also told you I thought, the fantasy camp of he and Steph teaming up in Charlotte is pretty neutral territory. Steph gets to go to his hometown. LeBron gets to get a Trump Jordan, be like he owned the team for 20 years. They won one playoff game.
Good take.
Oh, yeah, I'll go bring you to the finals. That'd be fun too.
So you heard what Chris Broussard had to say. I want to quickly give you guys who's on the Lakers roster right now. Currently, as we speak, Jared Vanderbilt, who's supposed to be a defensive guy. You have D'Angelo Russell. I'm just going to name the guys that we know, like the notable guys. D'Angelo Russell, well, you all know him. He just broke the record for the most three-pointers made by any Laker in the history of that organization in a single season. You have Anthony Davis. Cam Reddish has been up and down, according to some of the things that the Lakers have been saying. Gabe Vincent, who used to be a former Miami Heat, he's been injured as of recent, but they have Taurean Prince. You have Austin Reeves. I'm just naming guys that we know. Of course, you have LeBron James, and you have Rui Hachimura. You have Spencer Dinwiddie. You have Christian Wood. Are you guys seriously sitting up here and saying that this is not a talented roster? Is this what Nick Wright was trying to say? I remember most people in the media, including Nick Wright and these guys, basically saying that they felt like the Lakers won the offseason with their offseason acquisitions. They felt like they actually built upon what they did on the team, built upon the team that actually went to the Western Conference Finals last year. So for Nick Wright to basically say the Lakers don't have any talent, I think that was totally disingenuous, because there have been occasions where the Lakers have beaten very, very good teams without some of their best players. Very, very good teams. I think they even beat the Milwaukee Bucks, if I'm not mistaken, without LeBron James as well. They beat the Bucks, they beat the Celtics, and on top of that, they've beaten some very, very good teams this year, especially in the Western Conference. I think they won the season series with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They won the season series with the Los Angeles Clippers. I think there's another team that they played in the West. I don't know about the Wolves, but they've beaten some very good teams. But of course, once again, that's Nick Wright. Nick Wright is very, very slick. You have to pay close attention to Nick Wright when he speaks, because he's always looking to cook in some kind of excuse. And that fundamentally was what he was trying to do just now. Was just basically saying, I don't really think they're talented. That's why ESPN and these guys are posting that thing. The bench only had 2 points. What narrative are you sending? You're like, I've never seen anything. The next thing that comes after that is, oh, there's no help. Meanwhile, they're acting like we've forgotten that this is the same team that just beat the Boston Celtics and just beat the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee without LeBron James. We're going to sit up here and really say that Lakers team doesn't have any talent. Let's cut it out. And I'm glad that Chris Broussard pointed it out because the Lakers do have a lot of talent. Why they're not performing up to the level of their talent, I don't know. It could also be that the competition, that maybe the other teams are just better. I don't know. But these are my thoughts. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about today's analysis? And what do you think about Chris Broussard pointing out that point? And ultimately, do you think the Lakers have a talented team or not? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments and we catch you on the next show. Peace.